Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is the Prince of FNAF, and if you're new here, please consider subscribing, and also be sure to hit that notification bell. That way, you'll indeed be notified for any awesome videos like this in the future. Bats, we are the bats, celebrating another birthday bash. Michael, it's your birthday today. I'm sorry guys, I know that wasn't a funny joke, it was cringe, but if you can forgive me for that, let's go and get started with our review of the Morbius movie. Morbius is a 2022 Marvel Comics anti-hero movie starring Jared Leto. It tells the story of Michael, a successful doctor, as he is looking for a cure to his disease. However, it leads him to start experimenting with bat and human DNA, creating Morbius, the living vampire. However, this does create a falling out with his childhood best friend, Milo, who wants to use the serum to make himself better because Milo, unfortunately, like Morbius, has the same disease. But when Morbius realizes that this cannot get into another person's hands because of what it's turned him into, basically a monster that wants to only kill and consume blood, he's like, no, I can't give it to you. And obviously, this is where Milo gets very, very upset. So this leads to off-screen. All of this happens off-screen. Are you serious, Sony? Are you freaking serious? Off-screen, Milo steals the vampire serum, turns himself into a vampire, and apparently it had a different effect on him than it did Michael, as he's now corrupted and fully embraced the vampire lifestyle, instead of being like Morbius, who feels bad for the people he kills when he goes beast mode. He just kills people because he can and for his own amusement. So Morbius realizes he needs to be stopped, so he begrudgingly decides to face him in epic battle. At first, Michael did not want to fight Milo. In fact, evaded most of Milo's attempts to fight with him. And even in the brief skirmish in the subway station, he decides to run from the fight. And it wasn't until Milo had killed their surrogate father from the orphanage that Morbius decides, no, this guy must be stopped. And he's lured to a skyscraper by Milo, who has his girlfriend, and Milo actually kills Michael's girlfriend. And so Morbius arrives too late, and this is where he goes beast mode. Him and Milo get into a huge fight. They're throwing each other into buildings, they're scratching huge chunks out of each other, they're biting each other, they're slamming each other down into concrete, they are crashing through buildings, crashing through the street. They finally crash through the street and into a sewer system that's kind of opened up, and they have a big huge fight, and Michael actually is defeated here. And using his last breath, he summons all of his bats, and they come and they coalesce in the sewer. They converge over Michael's body, and they bring him back to life. And Michael is just full beast mode now. He uses the bats to fling Milo across the room, slamming him through walls and into the ground and into pipes, and just slamming him everywhere, just very aggressively, very brutally. And finally, when Milo is just so injured that he can't get up, Morbius uses rat poison and stabs it directly into Milo, turning him for a brief moment back to his human self. And he says, I'm sorry, Michael. I didn't mean it. And he dies. Surprisingly enough, Morbius forgives him. I mean, this man murdered your guys' father. And I know what they're kind of going for. They're kind of going, well, oh, it wasn't his fault. He was corrupted by the vampire serum. I mean, yeah, but he still killed your father. So, I mean, whatever, he forgives him. The movie goes on. The movie kind of ends from there. Morbius is on the run, but he's still doing the good thing. He's still helping people who need his help. And we actually get a scene where MCU Vulture appears in a prison cell, just randomly, and he's like, what is this place? I bet they have better food in this joint. And then there's a news segment that says this man just appeared in a prison, and so we're just gonna release him because we don't know anything about him. And so he's released. He dons his Vulture costume from the MCU, and he meets up with Morbius, and they talk. And it looks like they're setting up something for like Morbius and the MCU Vulture to create sort of a dark Avengers type thing, like this kind of group of anti-heroes, which looks like it could be a fun concept in future movies. But yeah, that was a Morbius. It's kind of all over the place, but if you're really into action sequences, this movie has a lot of action sequences. A lot of scenes of Morbius causing destruction and evading the police, and just really cool vampire powers at work here. And even the fight scenes with Morbius are really cool and tons of fun. But it's just the movie is all over the place, and it just cuts to random situations sometimes, which I think is a reason why a lot of people didn't like this film. But I still think it was a good film. I liked it. The action sequences are fun, and it was definitely a enjoyable film. But it wasn't going to be Batman levels of good. The Batman, I still think, is the masterpiece of 2022. But let me know what you guys thought about Morbius. And with that being said, do take care and have a great night. I'll see you guys in the next one, wherever that may be.